This season, the New York Knicks want everyone to know it's their ball in their house. That was definitely evident on Sunday against Charlotte as the Knicks owned the Hornets right throughout, taking command from start to finish, slamming and smiling their way to a 27-point victory. Tuesday, the Knicks brought the same attitude against the Lakers, but Shaquille O'Neal had other ideas, powering his way inside and telling the Knicks it was his ball too. And when Nick Van Exel's adventurous shot found net, the Lakers had a 7-point victory, the Knicks tasting defeat for the first time. Last season, New York's trip to Golden State was a homecoming for Don Nelson. This season, it's the first road test for Jeff Van Gundy as the Knicks go against the Warriors' Latrell Sprewell, outstanding second-year man Joe Smith, and native New Yorker Chris Mullin. Coming up, the Knicks hope to have their way in San Jose as they take on the Warriors. We welcome you to the San Jose Arena, San Jose, California. We're about 50 miles south of Oakland, the usual home of the Golden State Warriors, but the Oakland Coliseum Center is undergoing a large-scale renovation. So this, the site of tonight's game, matching the Knicks and the Warriors. And in the Atlantic, the Knicks are 2-1 in a logjam. Orlando with the win earlier over the Nets in Tokyo, Japan. And in the Pacific, Golden State at 1-2 with a win over Vancouver and losses to the Clippers and the Trailblazers. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with John Andres, and for the Knicks, it is game number 1 of a 3-game Western trip. The Knicks coming off the loss to the Lakers Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden. Patrick Ewing had to tangle with Shaquille O'Neal, but John, should be a different story tonight as he goes up against the rookie center Todd Fuller, the Warriors' #1 draft pick out of North Carolina State.
Yes, Patrick should dominate, certainly, Marv, in a big way. Against the Lakers the other night, though, he had several big moments in that game. Patrick didn't start the game shooting the ball particularly well, but in the third quarter and the latter part of the game, he really had it going. Patrick shooting the soft jump shot, then running the court well on a beautiful fast break, got the finish real strong. And how about this shot in the closing moments of the game? I don't think Patrick's practiced that one much, but boy, did it come on time. And the other night in 40 minutes against the Lakers, Patrick shot a 21-point total, didn't shoot the ball well from the field after missing his first 6 shots, but the foul shooting was on target, 6 rebounds in the game, and you know Patrick was unhappy about that outcome, and I have a sense he may want to take it out on the Warriors tonight.
And this is a Warrior team that still features Chris Mullin as one of their major threats. Now, the last time that Chris faced the Knicks, it was back on March the 3rd of last season. He injured his finger, suffered a lacerated finger, did not play the rest of the season, missed the final 24 games of the year. Certainly a fine memory for Chris, but you know he's always looking forward to playing against his hometown club.
Yes, Chris didn't do that well because of those injuries over the last couple of years, but it looks like he's healthy now after a summer where he worked out a lot, which he always does. And he's showing the touch these days, the jump shot, the smooth touch around the basket. And also on that jump shot, which was a 3, by the way, in 2 games ago, Chris went over the 15,000 mark. He's number 71 now, all-time scorers in the NBA. And look at that illustrious 11-year career. Very high numbers, good shooting percentage, and of course the last 4 years there have been 140 misses because of injury, but Chris is hoping for better things this season, you know that.
All right, so coming up, it's the Knicks and the Warriors from San Jose. We'll be back with the lineups in just a moment. This the first of 2 meetings between the New York Knicks and the Golden State Warriors. Golden State will be in New York in mid-December. Knicks won both games last season. A reminder, closed captioning brought to you by the Empire Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the best of health. And we are set for the introduction of the lineups. Let's join with the public address announcer, Dick Callahan.
Golden State Warriors. You will notice this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the 50 years, both teams this evening are wearing jerseys commemorating an earlier era. The officials for tonight's game are number 27, Dick Pavetta, number 28, Tommy Nunes, and number 24, Mike Callahan. And now introducing the visiting New York Knicks, who are coached by Jeff Van Gundy, assisted by Don Chaney, Brendan Malone, Jeff Nix, and Tom Thibodeau. The New York trainer is Mike Saunders and Tim Walsh. Starting at guard in his 4th year from Tennessee, standing 6'6", number 20, Allen Houston. At the other guard position in his 3rd year out of Florida State, standing 6'2", number 21, Charlie Ward. Starting at center in his 12th year from Georgetown, standing 7 feet tall, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At a forward position in his 6th year from UNLV, standing 6'7", number 2, Larry Johnson. And at the other forward position in his 12th year out of Virginia Union, standing 6'9", number 34, Charles Oakley. Not in uniform for the Knicks this evening, Scott Brooks. Starting lineup for your Golden State Warriors. Starting at guard is 11th year out of Georgia Tech. Standing 6 feet tall, number 25, Mark Price. And the other guard position in his 5th year from Alabama. Standing 6'5", number 15, co-captain Latrell Sprewell. Starting at center in his 1st year out of North Carolina State, standing 6'11", number 52, Todd Fuller. At a forward position in his 12th year from St. John, standing 6'7", number 17, co-captain Chris Mullen. And at the other forward position in his 2nd year from Maryland, standing 6'10", number 32, Joe Smith. Head coach of the Warriors is Rick Adelman, assisted by John Wetzel, Rod Higgins, and George Irvin. The Golden State trainer is Tom Abdenor.
Well, the Golden State Warriors have had their difficulties here in San Jose. They have lost both games here at their temporary home. In fact, Tuesday night here in San Jose, they lost to Portland 111-93. Rick Adelman very upset about his team's defensive play. What about the move to San Jose? What effect has it had on the club? We asked that of Chris Mullen.
Well, it hasn't been too good so far. We've had 2 subpar performances here. I don't think it's the arena. I think it's us. So if it was the arena, we would take the escape on that, but I don't think that's it. But again, hopefully we can get playing better, and no matter where we are.
Typical Chris Mullen, right down the middle, no punches pulled. But he's smiling because he's happy to be back, that's for sure, after a frustrating 4 years, particularly last year, and he's just happy to be playing ball again.
And you can see the throwback uniforms being worn by both teams. The Warriors with the gold outfits of the 1966 through 71 San Francisco teams, featuring the Golden Gate Bridge under the words "The City." The officials, Dick Pavetta, Mike Callahan, and Tommy Nunes, as the Knicks control the opening tip. Charlie Ward met by Mark Price. Allen Houston guarded by Latrell Sprewell. Larry Johnson. And here's Charles Oakley. Well, Charles Oakley opened up with a 3 against the Lakers the other night, making his return, and it gets the Knicks going here. Larry Johnson is defending against Chris Mullin. Joe Smith and Mark Price with Charles Oakley picking him up on the switch. Here's Mullin for 3. And back come the Knicks. Warriors able to get back. Johnson saw the opening.
For some reason, Mark Price just sailed by Larry Johnson. It had the look that to his teammates that he was going to pick up Johnson.
4-0 Knicks. And Fuller stripped by Oakley. Todd Fuller, the starting center, with the departure of Ronnie Cycling. Traveling violation.
Larry Johnson, wants to have a big game after his disappointing performance the other night, and he's so anxious he took that extra step on that move.
Larry coming off a 2 for 7, only 7 points against the Lakers, and 3 of 8 at the line, including those key misses right at the end of the ball game. Here's Fuller, who has the good outside touch. Rebounded by Smith. Beautifully done. Joe Smith playing with a bruised right ankle. Number 1 pick in the draft last year and had a strong rookie season. Ewing lost it.
Chris Mullin knows. He knows if Patrick puts the ball on the floor, his quick hands are going to be there.
Sprewell. And he's hit on the reach-in by Allen Houston.
Golden State naturally wants to use Sprewell and Mullin as much as possible. Much of their action in the offense goes to them. Both of them are excellent without the ball, so they will cut a lot to the basket and hopefully get return passes.
Well, Rick Adelman has taken a early 20-second timeout. Rick Adelman in his second season as head coach of the Warriors. And last year, the first time, did not get to the playoffs as a head coach. 6 for 6 with Portland, including a couple of trips to the finals. Losing to Detroit in 1990, losing to Chicago in 92. There you see the all-time winning percentage. Rick in a very impressive group. Lester Harrison, great name from the early days of the NBA as actually coach and general manager and owner of the old Rochester Royals. So Sprewell fouled in the act. Latrell Sprewell, who shot only 4 of 13 in the loss to Portland the other night in his 5th year out of Alabama. And his stock has dropped around the league after the much publicized disputes with former teammate Tim Hardaway, and he and Don Nelson were also going at it from time to time.
Yet he's so talented, Marv, that the Warriors gave him a 4-year, $8 million per year contract in the summer.
Larry Johnson not able to hit the 3. Ewing with a beautiful pass. The rebound by Ewing, and then he fed Oakley.
What poise by Ewing in the middle of all that action to deliver such a pass.
And a blocking foul called on Charlie Ward. The Knicks 6, Golden State 4 with 2.5 gone by. Again, Oakley comes out to greet Price. Here's Smith. Beautiful stroke by Joe Smith to tie the game.
Joe Smith at 6'10" can do many things, as you see, and also Patrick Ewing getting the ball down low can do many things when he's around the hoop.
Nice lead pass tossed by Charlie Ward. Charlie had 9 assists the other night against the Lakers, and it's the Knicks with an 8-6 advantage. Here's Price open. It's a 3 from Mark Price.
One of the great things Mullin can do is start a drive, draw the attention, and then pitch the ball back outside. He did it very simply but effectively to Price there.
Warriors by 1. Ewing setting up at the high post. Shot clock at 3. Ewing again has it batted away. Price got the hand on it. And Ward stealing from Price. Feeding Ewing. Last touched by the Knicks.
Nicely done. Patrick couldn't finish the play, but it was set up beautifully. Well timed by Charlie Ward, who stayed in the middle of the court until the right moment for the delivery to Patrick.
Now Chris Mullin handling the ball at what Don Nelson liked to call the point forward position. Mullin with the step, missed the reverse.
There's a new term for Sprewell per Rick Adelman. How about this one, Marv? Power point forward.
Once again, a breakdown defensively by Golden State.
Very poor transition defense.
So Charles Oakley has given the Knicks a 1-point lead. Oakley got a hand on it, but it's recovered. Pretty feed, and Mullin puts Golden State up by 1.
Golden State's happy with this style of play. It's a scrambling style instead of the power style that the Knicks are certainly capable of against this smaller team.
For the Knicks, the road trip continues tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Clippers at the Sports Arena in LA, and then Sunday night at Vancouver. Back at the Garden Tuesday to face the Sixers. Sprewell with the rebound and pops it down. Here's Fuller running the court, but that pass off the mark.
Sprewell, a very effective rebounder. He works out of the guard position, but at 6'5", he has all the skills necessary to do virtually anything on the court.
Houston, and he is stripped. Mullin again. Here's Price. Mullin rejected by Johnson and fouled. A hard foul. Crowd does not appreciate it, but Larry Johnson was going for the ball. Rick Adelman not happy. Looking for the flagrant, and he gets the call. It is a flagrant. Well, that's one we'll have to look at again, but first a timeout taken.
Well, Chris Mullin on the foul line now after a flagrant foul was called against Larry Johnson as Mullin went up for a shot. There was a little hesitation as to whether it would or would not be for a few seconds. Take another look at it now. Mullin going up, Larry Johnson coming over. Hard foul by Larry. I think the feeling is that Larry was just trying to block the shot, but he couldn't get up high enough to do it as Mullin twisted his body into Larry Johnson. And I think, Marv, another look at it now. If there's a doubt these days, it's going to go in favor of the flagrant being called. The NBA is very, very sensitive about their players getting hurt and any suggestion of violence taking place.
So the 2 free throws plus possession. Warriors now lead 13-10. 6:45 remaining in this first quarter. Here is Mullin. And Houston able to reach for the rebound. Both teams remaining the same following the timeout. Ewing. Patrick Ewing having some difficulties handling the ball here in the early going.
That's why the bounce passes are better as opposed to the line drives.
3 turnovers committed by Ewing. Open shot for Fuller. Todd Fuller averaging 11 points, 7 rebounds, 6'11" rookie from North Carolina State. Last year as a senior led the ACC in scoring, averaging 21 a game.
He's willing to play physically with Ewing as well. He's got a terrific maturity in his upper body, and he looks very tough. It looks like he's willing to take on the task of meeting Patrick Ewing for the first time.
Foul was called on Chris Mullin. Todd Fuller, an academic All-American. John, he recorded just 2 grades of B while compiling a 3.9 as a math major. Nice pass.
I am intimidated.
By Oakley or Fuller?
By Fuller and Oakley.
I see. Todd Fuller also turned down a chance to be a Rhodes Scholar. Off the scramble, Johnson with the steal. And Charlie Ward pushing it down, protecting the dribble against Mark Price. And Mullen comes up with another steal.
People don't identify Mullen with great defense, but boy, you talk about hands, and I don't know if there are any better. And he's already disrupted the Knicks several times.
But at the other end, only 1 of 5 from the field. Warriors by 3 as we come up on 5 remaining in the first. Allen Houston with the gorgeous stroke. And he's tied the game at 15, a 3 for Houston.
Just great range. He was going left, too, and then pulled back to the right hand. That's not easy.
Illegal defense called for the first time. Dick Bavetta making that call, so a new 24 provided for Golden State.
A moment ago, Allen Houston goes left and pulls back to the right hand and swooshes that 3.
Fuller. Jeff Van Gundy has been screaming from the Knicks bench, put your hands up to Patrick Ewing, and he did not have the hands up, and Fuller's been hitting the jump shot.
Boy, at 6'11", that's a mighty nice range.
Johnson, Larry Johnson with the rebound and able to hit the follow. So the game is tied at 17. Larry Johnson with his second field goal. He has 4. The Knicks would love to see a breakout game offensively for Larry Johnson. Both teams shooting well. Knicks 8 for 12 from the field. Crossover. Sprewell was trying to draw the foul. It was not a good shot.
Nice job by Allen Houston staying on him after the initial fake.
Johnson guarded by Mullen. And again Mullen reaching in for the steal. Houston recaptures. Here's Houston challenging Fuller. He went to the reverse. Rebound Ewing. And the Knicks lead by 2.
High energy by Houston and by Ewing.
How about Chris Mullen? 4 steals in this first quarter. And the foul on Johnson. Reach in, trying to slap it away from Mullen. John Starks checking in. First substitution of the game.
Mullen with the good hands, followed by Allen Houston. Soft touch. Larry Johnson, then Ewing finishing with the hard work. Anybody who knows Chris Mullen through the years, of course, who's listening to this game, is not surprised by Chris's showing with his quick hands.
And the Knicks have done it off the boards here in the first quarter. Here's Fuller, that time blocked as Ewing came out on Fuller and is called for the foul. So that's the first on Ewing. John Starks replacing Larry Johnson, so the Knicks have a 3-guard alignment. B.J. Armstrong on the floor for the first time for Golden State. The Knicks without Scott Brooks for tonight, so we may see much of John Starks as a backup at the point. Scott Brooks out due to dehydration caused by a virus, and his situation is said to be day-to-day. The game tied at 19, 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres. We are in San Jose, California, the temporary home of the Golden State Warriors. Ewing on a fadeaway. Patrick Ewing over Todd Fuller. Third field goal for Ewing. He has 6, and the Knicks lead by 2.
Warriors with an excellent showing here in the first quarter.
Armstrong, who has not been getting the playing time recently. Mullen, shot clock down to 6. Sprewell for 3. And Ward able to come up with it. Houston with a hesitation move. That was intended for Starks. Timeout is called. 2:45 to go in the first. Welcome back to San Jose. Actually, tonight marks the 3rd time that the Knicks are facing the Warriors here in the city of San Jose. Back in the mid-60s, the then San Francisco Warriors played a number of home games at the San Jose Civic Auditorium. The Knicks in San Jose twice. High scores in that game in February. Howard Comives with 22, Rick Barry at 21. And then in January of '67, Dick Barnett with, is that Dick Barnett or Jim Barnett? Dick Barnett for the Knicks leading the way with 30. Jim Barnett was a member of the Warriors, now broadcaster for the Warriors. B.J. Armstrong ties the game at 21. John Wallace has checked in for the first time. Starks is fouled. John Starks held by Bimbo Coles, who also came on following the timeout. Bimbo Coles, the one-time Miami Heat player.
Best known for his defense, and he was all over Starks.
Traveling violation. And Felton Spencer, who recently came over in the deal involving Ronnie Cycli, the deal with Orlando, sending Spencer and Donald Royal to Golden State. Felton Spencer is on the floor. He has replaced the rookie Todd Fuller. Armstrong guarded by Ward. This is Spencer. Not a scoring threat, and throws up the air ball, which gets the reaction from the crowd.
You know, you wonder why a guy would take such a shot just in the game. Just bad judgment on that one.
Knicks and Warriors tied at 21. Just under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Nice ball movement. Ward. And Spencer deflects it out. John Wallace hanging in. The Knicks now have a combination of Ewing, Oakley, and Wallace on the front line. Ward and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing going at Spencer. Lost it. Wallace with the recovery, and he's fouled. Hammered from behind.
You notice on this play, now Spencer will stand up to Wallace, and then following that, it looked like Spencer was trying to get eye contact with Wallace, who just looked away, didn't pay any attention, didn't respond to it at all. But toughness by Wallace in taking that physical blow as he attempted that shot.
Foul was called on Spencer, or rather on Sprewell. He and Spencer coming together on John Wallace. John Wallace has averaged 12 points and 5 rebounds, averaging 21 minutes of playing time. Everything he has done has been positive.
What a tough job now. He's guarding Sprewell. What a challenge.
Knicks have a 2-point lead as this first quarter winds down. And it's a 3-pointer for Joe Smith. Golden State leading by 1. Again, the good ball movement. And the Knicks take a 1-point lead. John Starks with his first bucket.
Marv, Golden State is doing everything proper in order to keep themselves in this game and get them to the point where they can think about winning the game. I mean, they're shooting the ball so well and showing some patience.
Armstrong with the fake. And Starks able to race it down. Half-minute left in this first quarter. Wallace with the fake. Yes, and it counts. Putting the move on the 7-footer Felton Spencer.
You know, the interesting thing I think that Knick fans are seeing in John Wallace, not to mention the coaching staff, is you got to figure as we look at this play again, long pass right on target, and Ewing knew exactly what to do with the ball. Nice hesitation, good move, and finish by John Wallace, who absolutely loves the move. But you have to think when you're bringing in a rookie like him and moving him along, there's going to be a step down when he substitutes, when he comes in and substitutes for a starter. But what we're seeing is the Knicks don't lose anything. In fact, they're actually gaining when he comes on the floor, and he's now his 4th game.
He has been so solid. 3-point play for Wallace, and the Knicks now lead 28-24. A couple of the newspaper columnists wrote of the fact that the Warriors, like several teams, passed on Wallace and drafted Todd Fuller. It counts. Joe Smith beating the 24-second buzzer. Final seconds. Ward, Charlie Ward going in and out with the fling from downtown. So after one here in San Jose, it's the Knicks 28 and the Warriors 26. Is the always dapper Chris Childs, who has been working out, not with the team. He has not worked out with the club since he fractured his leg in preseason. A look at Chris earlier today here at the San Jose Arena. He is eligible to come off the injured list for the game in Vancouver on Sunday, but it is not expected that he will be back at that time as he continues to work his way back. Dante Jones also on the injured list. So the Knicks are down by one, 34-33 with 6:40 remaining in this first half. Marv Albert, John Andres from San Jose, California, home of the Sharks of the NHL. The capacity here is 18,500. Crowds have been disappointing, around 13,000, 14,000 over the first two games, but a bigger crowd here this evening. Coles just did beat the 24 and then able to wrestle it free. Nice ball movement by Golden State, although they had trouble getting the shot off. Here's Fuller. Todd Fuller continues to impress, 3 of 4 from the field. He has 8 points.
See the importance of second shots. The Knicks cannot allow second shots. That last miss bounced right back into the hands of Coles, turned into a basket.
Charlie Ward's pass picked off by B.J. Armstrong. He leads Chris Mullin. And the Warriors now lead 38-33. Jeff Van Gundy has Patrick Ewing and Charlie Ward back on the floor. Ward with Starks, Ewing up front with Johnson and Buck Williams. Johnson, rebound Williams, and he's fouled.
How about Mullin once again with the quick hands, but a foul. He'll argue that call. But the difference here, Marv, is the Knicks are just not getting the jump shooting. As soon as that ball goes inside, Ewing is tasting double and triple teaming like he hasn't in any game this season. And Larry Johnson just missing, but the reliable offensive rebound of Buck Williams right there.
Buck Williams played well the first 2 games of the season in the starting lineup. Charles Oakley sidelined by the suspension. So Golden State leads 38-34. Here is the red-hot Joe Smith checking back. Coming on for Ray Owes, who is quite a story. Signed as a free agent, played in Australia last season, averaging 22 points and 14 rebounds for one of your favorite clubs, the Geelong Supercats, John, of the Australian National Basketball League. Ray actually started his first NBA game on Sunday against Vancouver.
Did rather well, too, with 15 points and 12 rebounds in half a game.
So the Warriors lead by 3. Sprewell with the shot clock running down, and it's a violation. The Knicks with only 1 field goal the last 7 minutes. 5:05 to go in the first half. Charles Oakley being waved on by Dick Bavetta, replacing Buck Williams. Nice job by Buck.
Knicks looking in low to Ewing, draws the double team.
And Sprewell could not hold on. Here's Mark Price making his return for Bimbo Coles. Knicks only 1 of 7 from the field in the second quarter. That gives 1 of 8. Larry Johnson able to rescue. John Starks, a one-time member of the Warriors. And the call against the Knicks. Offensive foul on Ewing, extending that right arm to push out. That's his second foul.
Golden State just doing a terrific job on making it tough for the Knicks big man.
Now Fuller over to set the screen. Battle between Sprewell and Starks. Nice move by Sprewell. Warriors want the goaltend. They get the foul call.
It looks like Dick Pavetta was signaling a gesture for a basket. There is some confusion.
No basket is the call.
Sprewell spinning in, but that ball was falling short of the basket. To many fans, and depending on where you're sitting, it looked like a goaltend, but it was falling short. It was not on its way to the basket, down to the basket.
That is the explanation on the public address by Dick Callahan. And Latrell Sprewell shooting 2.
The Golden State Warriors are going into their sequences very quickly, as they did on that last play with Sprewell isolating on Starks, requiring a Knicks very fast response for double teaming, because Sprewell's a bit taller than Starks and has a ton of moves, so John will need help.
The Knicks trailing by 5. Here's the double on Ward. Oakley. Larry Johnson being presented with a 3 and is able to take advantage.
Oh, what a breakthrough for the Knicks. Some perimeter action, finally.
Well, he passed up on the first opportunity. They were handing it to him, saying, hey, take the shot. And he did, and was able to bury it, so the Knicks are now down by 2. Mark Price penetrated and then changed his mind, tried to kick it out.
Just misjudged the positioning of Chris Mullin.
Warriors 40 and the Knicks 38. Just under 4 minutes remaining first half. Here's Johnson again with the open 3. Larry Johnson is the high man for the Knicks. He has 12 points, 4 of 8 shooting, and that is a traveling violation.
A victory for Allen Houston, who is matched up on Sprewell. You know, he considered these special moments when he's against some of the better 2 guards in the league. The offensive force of Sprewell is really considerable.
Ward for 3. Oakley, and recovered by Ewing. Hustle by Oakley and Ewing to get that second opportunity. Here's the double on Johnson. He finds Ewing. What a play! A reverse stuff by Patrick Ewing, and he's tied the game at 40.
Well, that lit up this crowd. This is the home crowd, and they were more excited by that play than any so far.
That's one of those situations, just the right position. You're in the rhythm. Something neither of us can relate to, John. Popped it home on a reverse.
You mean the reverse slam, or just putting the ball in the basket?
No, the reverse slam.
I see, yes.
Joe Smith now has 15 points, and the Warriors lead by 2. Foul is called on Fuller. Here is another look as we go to break. Timeout is taken. Knicks down by 2 points.
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, to drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. Another look at this beautiful soft pass from Larry Johnson to Patrick Ewing, who enjoyed the space, the freedom for the first time in this half around the hoop, and he knew what to do with it.
Patrick Ewing with 8 points, 4 of 6 shooting, has 6 rebounds. And he was fouled a moment ago by Todd Fuller, so he's at the line with 2:23 remaining first half. And the Knicks now trail by 1. Felton Spencer checking back, replacing Todd Fuller, leaves with 8 points, 2 fouls. Allen Houston is back for the Knicks. Mark Price and Latrell Sprewell in the backcourt. Nice lead, and this is Smith. It's tipped home by Spencer. Well, Spencer, in his 7th year out of Louisville, spent 3 years with Minnesota, 3 with Utah, began this season with Orlando, and then traded to Golden State in the deal involving Ronnie Cyclé. Ewing is fouled by Spencer.
So here in the latter part of the first half, Ewing is now starting to settle in as the dominant big man that the Knicks expect him to be tonight in this particular game.
Ewing now 2 of 3 from the line. John Starks returning, replacing Larry Johnson. John Starks is drawing the booze here. San Jose. John gets that reaction in many cities around the league. I mentioned earlier, for a brief time, he was a member of the Warriors in his early NBA days, right out of the CBA.
Yeah, he's got kind of a bad boy thing, I guess, going back to his matchups with Indiana and Reggie Miller.
Won't count, offensive foul, and Mark Price is upset.
Mark Price hesitating, forcefully driving into the basket. Not much contact there, and that's what people are reacting to. Nice move, however, by Charlie Ward, putting himself in the position to draw that foul.
Ewing with the drop step. Nice move, but came up short. Warriors with the ball. They lead by 1:20 left in the first half. Sprewell backing Starks, trying to draw the foul. No call made. And here comes Ward. Houston. Crowd looking for the travel. But Allen Houston drawing the foul. Foul on Spencer.
Spencer asking for an explanation. He feels better.
Buck Williams will check back in. And Patrick Ewing in a discussion with Dick Bavetta. Gets set to head back to the bench.
Hey, Patrick was asking Dick how many miles he ran today. Dick very proud to tell us before, Marv, of his earlier workout here on a beautiful day in San Francisco.
Now, he ran 7 miles yesterday. Cut down today, but it's still a healthy pace as Smith is fouled, and he will go to the line. Guys got to keep in shape, and he is in excellent shape.
Yes, he takes great pride in his conditioning, as he was reminding us, and will continue to as the season goes on.
So the Warriors lead by 1. Coming up at halftime, Mike Crispino at the MSG Sports Desk. Lots to cover around the NBA and the NHL. We'll take a look at first half highlights. Earlier in Tokyo, Japan, the Orlando Magic defeated the New Jersey Nets in the first of 2 games in Tokyo. 108-95 the final. Just under 1 minute remaining in this first half. The Knicks trailing by 2. And again a travel on Houston.
No question, Marv. He's really dragging that foot when he starts faking, and it's a little pattern of motion. It's amazing when a player gets into a certain kind of movement that it's very hard to break it.
And that is the 4th turnover committed by Houston in the first half. All right, here's Price. Warriors lead by 4.
They're a dynamite team together. Mullen with the penetrating move, and then he knows what to do with it once he's stopped.
6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. This crowd has come to life. Ward tied up by Mullen.
Charlie trying to do a little too much with the basketball, trying to split 2 defenders, and lost his balance on that play.
11 seconds remaining first half. And Jeff Van Gundy pointing out to Tommy Nunez that the alignment for the jump ball was improperly set, and Tommy Nunez did listen, said thank you.
Starks and Price had their legs intertwined,
Right.
which
things are very quiet here in the first half. John, you get that idea? And now a travel is called on Starks. So the Warriors get it back with 9 7/10 seconds to go in the first half. Price down to 5 seconds. Down to 3. Price blocked by Ward. And here's Ward with the two-hand set. Well, Charlie Ward had the opportunity into the first quarter and nearly connected off glass. This time that shot off the mark. So the Warriors with a 4-point lead at the half here in San Jose. Coming up, the Tri-State Chief and Eagle halftime report. And we're just about set for the start of play in the third quarter with Golden State Warriors in front of the New York Knicks 48-44. Look at the Toyota matchup. Charles Oakley has hit all 4 of his shot attempts, 8 points. But Joe Smith, the second-year player out of Maryland, 7 of 9, 17 points in all. He's the high man in the game. Close-up look at the statistics in the first half. The Knicks, after the good start, 12 of 19 in the first quarter, but now 15 of 33, 46%, while the Warriors picked it up in the second quarter. Knicks only 2 of 11 from three-point range, and Golden State perfect at the foul line.
Knicks shooting their foul shots well tonight. 12 out of 14. The turnover situation, the big story though, Marv, is, as you've been pointing out as well, 22 points out of 48 for Golden State coming from turnovers. Hey, I can't believe Charles Oakley can be on the floor for 17 minutes and not have a rebound. That's remarkable. That's against the law of nature, I think, or against the law of hoops anyway.
Yeah, it is unusual, but Charles putting bodies on people and boxing out may not come up with balls, but makes it possible for teammates. But still, you'd expect that he'd have a rebound or two. Sprewell gets the Warriors going, and they now lead by 6. Knicks with Ward and Houston in the backcourt. Ewing, Oakley, Johnson up front, and Ewing was rejected. Here's Sprewell, and he missed the reverse. Oakley got the hand in just enough to bother him.
Incidentally, talk about hand going in bothering people. That was Mullen breaking up that last Ewing move, helping out once again.
Bad pass. Another Knick turnover.
See Ewing down low, ball slapped away by Mullen. Talk about help defenders. Boy, Mullen's done some job. Sprewell trying to do a little bit too much on that move.
Price and Sprewell at the guards. Fuller up front, along with Smith and Mullen. Comes back to Mullen.
Mullen all alone in the corner, trying to get the attention of his teammates.
Open shot for Price.
Now that's a guy you can't leave wide open. You just can't forget about him. And Price, one of the game's outstanding long-range jump shooters.
Mark Price, 3 of 4, 7 points. Oakley for Ewing. Nice look by Charles Oakley.
Just beautiful. Good ball movement by the Knicks on that sequence. Ewing moving well without the basketball.
Warriors by 6. Sprewell for 3. Well, we're seeing the Warriors unleash a number of open shots here at the start of the third quarter, and they now lead by 9. It's their biggest lead. Here's Ewing getting inside. Crowd looking for a travel. Patrick Ewing with 15 points.
Knicks going to their strength, which is their big man.
Price got bottled up. Golden State maintaining possession. Warriors with a record of 1-2. Lost their opener to the Clippers. And then won at Vancouver. Last game Tuesday night here in San Jose. They lost to Portland They were drilled 111-93. Rick Adelman very upset with the defensive play of his team. Offensive foul. It is on Oakley. That's his second.
Charles was massaging Chris Mullen as he was trying to get the position he wanted. Yes, the porous defense inside the foul line is what killed them, and that's why they've come out tonight with a real concerted effort at playing much tougher defense, and that's why it was so difficult for the Knicks in the first half. Golden State was focusing so that they didn't repeat that poor internal defense performance that they showed the other night.
How about Rasheed Wallace for Portland? 15 of 20, had a career high of 32 points. And a foul against the Warriors, a holding foul. It is on Mullen. That's his third. Now, Golden State's previous game, Sunday in Vancouver, they beat the Grizzlies by 10, although they dressed only 8 players. Joe Smith out with the ankle problem, and the newcomers Felton Spencer, Donald Royal had not made it to the game. Here's Smith getting it high over Ewing. The save by Oakley, but taken by Mullen. And the Knicks want a timeout. The Warriors lead by 9. 8:48 remaining. Third quarter.
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. Marv, there's something new here with the Golden State Warriors this year. It's their new mascot.
Berserker 79, blowing the stuff. Now, Berserker 79 has had some troubles, John. Broke his nose in the pregame warm-up opening night last week, jumping off a trampoline for a slam dunk. And Berserker 79 broke his nose on the rim. Nice move by Larry Johnson. Now, you may ask why Berserker 79. That is the atomic number for gold on the periodic table. Gold for Golden State. This may be too deep. Yes, he is this is intensive research. Here's Price for 3. Mark Price heating up, and Golden State now leads 63-54. Ward for Oakley. Nice penetration by Charlie Ward. So 5:45 remaining, third quarter, and it's the Golden State Warriors with a 7-point lead. Daniel Marshall had the hot hand earlier, is back in. And pass. Joe Smith got trapped. Allen Houston, that time eluding Mark Price, but could not hit. And Todd Fuller gets to it. It has been a very poorly played game by the Knicks. They have turned it over 21 times. Here's Price. Too many open shots for Mark Price.
Boy, Mark passed up an opportunity to give the ball to Fuller, who had battled for good position.
Johnson one-on-one going at Smith. Able to get the position and hit. Larry Johnson with 18 points. And the Knicks now are down by 5. Sprewell. Rejected by Ewing. Crowd looking for goaltend. Marshall for 3. Charles Oakley landing right at the press table. Charles loved it.
Very graceful, though.
Yes.
He didn't break anything.
Very nice.
Popped right out again.
Landing on the cushion of a couple of computers. Here's Ward. Charlie Ward with a hard driving move, and the Knicks showing some signs. It leads to a Rick Adelman timeout. A 20-second timeout. The Warrior lead is down to 3. They have led by as many as 10.
Well, it starts with defense for the Knicks. Sprewell with a tough move, but Patrick Ewing was there to send that shot back. Charles Oakley saving that basketball, beating up on a computer, but he was right back in the action quickly, and the Knicks have come back to within 3 points. Rick Adelman getting a technical called on him moments after that 22nd timeout was called. As you can see, he's composed himself. Rick Adelman had a lot to say when the 22nd timeout was called. He was real unhappy about the non-calls that his team didn't get. We have a correction on the call now. John Starks drew the technical foul as Mark Price goes to the line. We saw the T being called, and Adelman was waving his arms when that timeout was called.
So John Starks hit with the T. And John is hearing it from the crowd. Apparently he had something to say to one of the officials. And now an animated discussion between Latrell Sprewell and Charles Oakley. Starks also involved in the conversation. Does not look to be a friendly conversation between Starks and Sprewell.
What's known as a gab fest during the action.
Right. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Sprewell for three. Oh, and he is in the face of John Starks.
That's becoming taunting.
And he is hit with a technical. Latrell Sprewell taunting Starks, and a technical foul call. So Starks and Sprewell going at each other. A moment ago, Starks hit with the technical, and now Sprewell is the follow-up to the three-pointer. So Charles Oakley goes to the line. He'll shoot the tee.
Well, one of the things that Jeff Van Gundy can't be happy about is his team on defense is not staying home. That statement referring to jump shooting potential by Golden State. Knicks are leaving men wide open, jump shooters. You'll see Sprewell on this shot getting it up and in, and then running down court with a verbal lashing at John Starks, who keeps his mouth shut as Sprewell gets the call against him.
Well, Starks has to be careful. Hit with the technical a moment ago. Ewing, yes, and it counts.
That's what happens when you don't double and triple Ewing. And the Knicks are shifting their offense on the left side of the court on a play like that, so defenders can't get Ewing. See, the offense is on the other side of the court, so the double team comes too late. Ewing's within very close range as a result.
Felton Spencer called for the foul, his fourth. Ewing completes the three-point play. Patrick Ewing with 18. The Knicks are down by 3. B.J. Armstrong has checked in. He is now in the backcourt with Latrell Sprewell, still talking with Starks. Oakley going for the steal, is called for the foul. So the Knicks with their third team foul. And Joe Smith to the line. The conversation continues. Latrell Sprewell.
I can't believe the guy would keep doing this.
Very social, but John Starks not looking to continue. Smith with 18 points. He leads Golden State. Larry Johnson and Patrick Ewing each have 18 for the Knicks. 3 minutes remaining in the third. Things have heated up here in the third quarter. Ewing with a strong move. It will count as a goaltend.
That was Joe Smith coming over, showing his jumping ability, which he's happy about. But it didn't look like the shot was going in the basket. Meanwhile, the Knicks keep going to Ewing, and it's working.
Knicks are now down by 2. Marshall played by Johnson. And away from the ball, an offensive foul. Felton Spencer lined up John Starks, and the Knicks did not appreciate it. Oh, Larry Johnson very upset. Larry Johnson is particularly upset, and he is being calmed down by Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing.
He's okay, though. He's cooled off. Meanwhile, Sprewell is on the verge of being thrown out of the game. I mean, the guy just doesn't shut up. And Joe Smith, of course, is right there supporting him.
Well, the officials talking it over. A technical foul call, along with the offensive foul on Spencer, who now has 5. Mike Callahan and Dick Pavetta over at the official scorer. Could be a double technical. Let's see. So it is a double technical. The offensive foul on Spencer. Tom Fuller coming on. So Danielle Marshall and Larry Johnson called for the double technical. Johnson was upset with Felton Spencer and was pushed by Danielle Marshall, who was trying to keep Johnson away from Spencer. Here's another look at it.
See Oakley right after the play. Oakley and Spencer. Oakley walking away from the action. The last thing Charles wants is a technical or a game ejection. After missing the first 2 games, Sprewell right in the middle, yapping away. And we're back to action finally.
It's been a heated third quarter, highlighted by the chatter between John Starks and Latrell.
Oh, what a pick by Larry Johnson. He set a bruising pick to get Ewing loose.
And that's 4 on Johnson.
See Larry Johnson holding his ground, he thought, but the official saw movement by him. You can't do that when you set a pick.
All right, here's Sprewell giving it up. Armstrong. Warriors 70 and the Knicks 66 as we come up on 2 minutes remaining, third quarter. Starks played by Sprewell, who continues to talk. And a foul called against the Warriors. It's on B.J. Armstrong. Allen Houston getting set to check back in. He'll come on for Larry Johnson. Larry leads with 18 points. Very solid game for Larry Johnson. And Bibbo Coles has replaced Danielle Marshall, who is the 4 points. Starks, he is fouled.
John is gloating whenever he gets something going his way, which I think is further antagonizing the opposition.
It's been a very quiet game for John Starks. 17 minutes, 1 of 3 from the field. Only 2 points, making his first appearance at the line.
Interesting that Chris Mullin is not on the floor throughout much of this good action. It's a compliment to their team, but with the 4 fouls, he is being held out now for the fourth quarter.
John Starks hits on both, and the Knicks are down by 2. Good run here in the third quarter by the Knicks. They trailed by as many as 10. Now Starks guarding Coles. And Houston defending against Sprewell. They double up on him. And a foul on Houston. That is his third. Now Buck Williams checks back in. The Knicks with their fourth team foul. Buck Williams for Charles Oakley. Oak is 5 of 5 from the field, 11 points.
Houston has done a good job on Sprewell, who's capable of really breaking loose, but he hasn't done that tonight.
Now the drive to the left and rejected by Ewing. The two-hand rejection. Starks for three. Yes! How often have we seen where John Starks gets involved, it tends to fire him up. And he hit from downtown to give the Knicks a 71-70 lead. With a minute 10 left, third quarter. Fuller to the sweeping hook. And rebounded by Buck Williams. An 11-3 run by the Knicks to take the lead.
You know, Marv, what the Knicks had in mind is just what they're getting now with John Starks off the bench.
Armstrong met by Ward. And away from the ball with Armstrong sent flying, a blocking foul. Puts the Knicks over the limit as Ewing has committed his third. Final scores from earlier tonight in the NBA. In the game in Tokyo, Orlando defeated the New Jersey Nets 108-95, led by Penny Hardaway with 23. Kendall Gill led the Nets with 22 points. Overtime, Houston over Denver, 110-108. Hakeem Olajuwon, 36 points. And the other final, Seattle beat Phoenix 103-98. Gary Payton, 25, Hersey Hawkins, 24.
Marv, how about the shocker last night in Charlotte? The Lakers, after leaving the Garden the other night, feeling good, go down and get shocked by 10 points by Matt Geiger's 22 points, 4 out of 6 from three-point range.
Lottie Divac did not see much action. It was Geiger and George Zedek. 1-point Warrior lead. Ward lost it. Starks with the save, try to call time. And we get apparently a foul. It's called a loose ball foul as Starks took a shot. And again, players come together. Patrick Ewing trying to calm John Starks down. It's on Coles.
Well, Charlie Ward lost the ball. John Starks, however, going for that loose basketball, was driven off the court by the surprised Coles. You can see that look on his face. I think part of it, Mark, from Ewing is, John, don't wipe that smile off your face and just play ball here. It's not helping us when you do that.
Both teams are now over the foul limit. John Wallace making his first appearance of the second half, replacing Charlie Ward. 7 assists for Ward. Wallace played 8 minutes in the first half, scored 5 points.
Starks moves over to point guard now, which has been an early pattern here with Jeff Van Gundy having confidence in John.
And Scott Brooks is out because of a virus, sitting out the game tonight. The Knicks lead by 1, 15 seconds remaining in the third. Starks starting Armstrong, who backs his way. And a foul is called, and look out, here we go again. B.J. Armstrong upset.
Until he saw who it was holding him. It's like looking at God, you know. You turn around, it's Buck Williams. It's, oh, that's okay. You know, you can do that. Because you're a pro, you're solid.
Apparently got hit after the whistle and was upset. He was fouled by Starks. And B.J. Armstrong, one of the better free throw shooters, at the line.
B.J. a fine player. But I think best known at this point in his career for the fact that he has 3 championship rings for his years with the Chicago Bulls. But a very durable player, has played now in 532 consecutive regular season games. That's the 3rd longest streak among active players. Only A.C. Green of Phoenix and Michael Cage now of the Sixers have more.
Game is tied at 73. Final seconds of the third. Ward trying to hit Wallace, and last touch by Wallace. 3 8/10 seconds to go. The Knicks with their 23rd turnover. Here's Smith. Gets it off. After 3 in San Jose, the Knicks and Warriors tied at 73. Back in San Jose, our Coke Classic play and a different twist. The New York Rangers' first ever game here in San Jose was January 25th, 1994. Mark Messier with 2 goals, both in the first period. This is the first game following the All-Star break. And here is Messier again, set up by Brian Leach. The Rangers went on to beat San Jose 8-3 in their first ever appearance at the Shark Tank. Our Coke Classic play. But tonight it is basketball with the Golden State Warriors playing the entire season here in San Jose. The Oakland Coliseum Arena undergoing a 14-month renovation. The alternative for the Warriors was playing at the antiquated Cal Palace in San Francisco. Fourth quarter getting underway. The game is tied at 73. The Oakland Coliseum will be ready for the opening of the 97-98 season. Ball goes back to the Knicks. Charles Oakley returning. Patrick Ewing will get a rest. So the Knicks with Buck Williams, Charles Oakley, and John Wallace up front. John Starks and Allen Houston in the backcourt. Starks handling against Coles. And a foul is called. Offensive foul on Starks.
A lot of pressure on John Starks, who's not used to bringing the ball up court under pressure. And the Golden State looking to bother John, who tends to dribble that ball a little bit high.
That is number 4 on Starks. Here's Coles. Marshall. Danielle Marshall way off. Whoa. Wallace beating the Warriors down court, and a beautiful lead pass from John Starks. Delay of game is called on the Knicks. So the next violation would be a technical foul.
Marshall threw up a crazy shot because the fast feet of Wallace were moving. He played terrific defense and then took off, and what a finish end-to-end for him.
The Knicks by 2. Just the start of the fourth quarter. Fuller. It counts. And the foul. Strong move in traffic by the 6'11" rookie from North Carolina State, Todd Fuller. Foul committed by Wallace.
Well, Fuller with the strength, upper body strength, got it done. And he has big plans. He predicts he may be an all-star in the NBA in 3 years. This is a guy who thinks positively. Throughout his college career, he had some very big games against some of the big, well-known centers in college basketball.
He says he'll be an all-star?
Well, that's the prediction.
Okay.
That's his plan.
Foul is called on Armstrong, as you say. Think positively, but it's the first time I've heard that from an NBA rookie. Todd Fuller will sit down, and he's replaced by Ray Owes, free agent by way of the Australian League. Houston. And a loose ball foul called on Buck Williams. For Buck, it is his first.
Buck Williams moving people around. You can see on that play the strength of Buck Williams. That was Ray Owes getting moved out.
Wallace with the intercept. Starks on the run. Feeding Houston. Allen Houston. Not a well-executed break by the Knicks. Armstrong backs away from Williams. Smith Marshall called for steps. Oh, the Knicks bumping Danielle around. First he took a shot from Buck Williams inadvertently, and then Charles Oakley, just to make sure that Danielle received the proper message, clipped him from behind.
That's what's known as a stamp. He's putting a stamp on it.
The Knicks trailing by 1, 9.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Open shot for Oakland. That's his first miss. He hit his previous 5. Neither club able to get going here at the start of the fourth quarter.
That's tough when you don't participate in the offense. It's been a long time for Charles between shots, so I don't think he was ready for that long one.
Warriors have called for timeout.
9:27 left in this very fierce tilt here in California. In the third quarter, we had an incident. Let's take a look at what happened to John Starks. See Felton Spencer coming up, acting like an offensive lineman, sending Starks to the ground. Charles Oakley came over with a little message to Felton Spencer. You can see another look at it again as John was committed to going over that pick, but he couldn't get through it. Well, that ended up ultimately in a double technical foul being called. Very, very physical game here.
That looked like a Rick Mahorn pick from his days with the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
Sprewell with a nice pass to set up Fuller. Beautifully done. And Fuller was fouled. Foul committed by Buck Williams.
Another look at it now. Nice pass. Good timing by Fuller. I mentioned before some of his big games last year. Well, against Marcus Camby last December, 30 points, 14 rebounds against a very tough UMass team.
And had a strong game against Tim Duncan of Wake Forest. Allen Houston very close to another travel and then fouled. Bimbo Coles going for the steal and picks up his third. 8:51 remaining in the fourth quarter. Golden State 79, the Knicks 75. Marv Albert, John Andres from the San Jose Arena. Oakley with the pick. Houston not able to use it. Now Houston isolated on Coles. And Buck Williams couldn't hold on. Allen Houston only 2 of 10 from the field. Patrick Ewing getting set to return. Here's the pick from Sprewell. Did not take advantage. Shot clock at 4. Down to 2. O's has to force, and it's a 24-second violation.
Tremendous helping defense by the Knicks. Golden State had nothing going on in the middle, no cutters, and a lot of intensity, man-on-man defense by the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing, high man for the Knicks, 8 of 13 for his 20 points. Larry Johnson has 18. Joe Smith leading Golden State with 18.
Ewing trying to get position, finally after being bumped, gets it a little out further than he wanted, and then rolls in.
Wallace with the rebound and the basket. John Wallace able to bank it home. 79-77 Golden State.
Boy, he had a big one like that against the Lakers the other night, and kind of at this time of the game, a very big play by Wallace.
Wallace has 9 points. Sprewell being played by Wallace. Loose ball foul against the Warriors. Foul committed by O's, pushing foul. So the Knicks get it back. Warriors with their third team foul. Now Joe Smith and Chris Mullen check in, replacing Coles and O's.
Warriors want to go at their best now for the final 7.5 minutes.
Mullen playing with 4 fouls. Starks got the step And fouled by Armstrong. Basket will not count. So that is team foul number 4 on the Warriors.
Knicks calling out a play now. Allen Houston getting that basketball. Ewing setting up down low. He wants to go one-on-one, and he does. No double team. Quick execution by the Knicks.
So Patrick Ewing has tied the game at 79. 22 for Ewing. Joe Smith been cooled off in the second half. He had 17 at the half. Only 1 point in the second half. A tripping foul on Buck Williams. 3 on Buck. 4th team foul on the Knicks.
Knicks tying the game a moment ago by looking into their big man. Ewing with the position. Goes to the middle of the court. Nothing Fuller can do about that.
Mark Price back for the Warriors. Sprewell. 3-second violation on Fuller. So the Knicks take over. Start of a 3-game Western swing. They'll play the Clippers in LA tomorrow, and then Sunday night at Vancouver. Clippers 2-1, winning in Denver on Tuesday night. The other win was over Golden State. Buck Williams fumbling that pass. The save by Ewing. Starks for 3. Wallace with the offensive rebound, and he's fouled.
That was a terrific response by Ewing, getting that loose basketball as quickly as he did into the right hands. And then Wallace, who continues to be big in closing moments, comes through.
Ten points for Wallace, 4 for 4 at the line. Charlie Ward replacing Allen Houston, not able to get it going this evening. He's missed his last 5 shots. There's 6 points for Houston. And the Knicks recapture the lead. They're up by 2.
Hey, coaches don't forget when a player like Wallace carving his way in now makes 2 foul shots in a moment like this.
Once again, the matchup is Starks and Sprewell. Here's Mullen for 3. Fuller with the rebound. Smith. That's his first field goal the second half, and he's tied the game at 81.
Terrific setup, however, by Mark Price.
Ewing, Ward, Starks, nice move on Sprewell, and hits! Yes, and it counts! John Starks with a terrific, hard driving move, appreciated by his teammates, and he'll go to the line.
Terrific patience by the Knicks on this sequence. Nobody forced the move, and then Starks got the one-on-one opportunity and came through big time.
And had to go up high over Joe Smith, who committed the foul, his second. And again, John hears it from the crowd. 5 for 5 from the line. He has 12 points, and he turned it around after the altercation, verbal altercation with Latrell Sprewell and other members of the Warriors. Knicks now lead 84-81. Shot clock at 6. Sprewell, and he was hammered. Sprewell to the line. Fouled by Ewing.
Sprewell, who can do great things with his body, goes up for one of those special moves, but everybody converged on him to shut him down.
That's 4 on Ewing. Knicks lead by 2. Tomorrow night, Warriors play at Denver. And they'll have a couple of days off. They'll play in Seattle on Tuesday. 1-point Knick lead. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. The steal by Sprewell. Wallace is back. Sprewell is fouled.
Terrific foul by Wallace. He got it done without it becoming an incident. Sprewell with his quickness, getting that basketball, flying down court. John Wallace just takes the 2 points away. He's got to earn it now.
Charles Oakley back on the floor. So the Knicks have Oakley with Ewing and Wallace, Starks, and Ward in the backcourt. Larry Johnson getting set to return, and here he comes, replacing John Wallace. Another superb game for Wallace in his 15 minutes. 3 of 5 from the field, 5 of 5 at the line, 11 points. Sprewell has given Golden State a 1-point lead.
Well, one of the good stories for the Knicks tonight, one of the many, is their foul shooting. 21 of 23.
Starks, John Starks, gives the Knicks a 1-point lead. And Starks now with 14 points. Price. Nice move, got the step, and then was able to hit on the pullout. Warriors 87, the Knicks 86. 4:20 remaining, fourth quarter. Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing with a reverse move off the lead pass from John Starks.
Boy, did he look mobile on that move.
Knicks by 1. Down to 4 minutes to go in the fourth. Fuller getting it high above Ewing. Well, Starks feeling the pressure from Sprewell, lost it. And the Knicks want to talk it over. Timeout called. The Knicks by 1, 3:53 remaining, fourth quarter. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter, and the Knicks have a 1-point lead. Next for the Knicks and the LA Clippers. And that will be a Friday night game at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. MCS Canada Knicks game night will get it going at 10 o'clock right here on MSG. Sprewell fouled, and he'll head back to the line. The foul committed by Starks. That's 5 on Starks.
Golden State isolated Sprewell with the height advantage on John Starks, and Mullen threw him a beautiful pass. How about this? If you like numbers.
And I know you do, John.
This is chilling.
You are a connoisseur of mathematics.
It was fun, but now it's gone. Yes. It all changed with that make.
And Sprewell is 9 for 9 at the line. Just under 90% for the season. So the Warriors by 1. Johnson trying to set the pick. They collapse on Ewing. Shot clock at 8. Ward passed on the 3. Starks from downtown. Yes! John Starks continues to hit clutch shots. He has 17, and he and Sprewell have resumed the conversation. The Knicks 91, the Warriors 89. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Sprewell going at Starks, would love to foul him out. Mullen for 3. Warriors take the lead, 92-91.
Chris Mullen is back.
Was not hitting the shot earlier. Ewing, yes, and it counts.
I think he's happy, Marv. Some move by Ewing. Tough to get that shot off. Similar to the crazy one he made against the Lakers in the closing moment the other night. Not as tough, however. It's crazy. But this one was tough. But the soft touch did it.
And the Knicks have taken a 1-point lead. Ewing to the line. Foul by Fuller, his third. One of those games, John, it just has evolved. There's no terrific rivalry between these two clubs, but it's been well fought right throughout. Had some tense moments. Starks and Sprewell getting involved. Larry Johnson got involved, set a harsh pick, as did Felton Spencer. Knicks now lead 94-92. Warriors led by as many as 10. We have 2.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Here's Sprewell with the feed for Fuller, rejected. Ward or Ewing got a piece of it, then the blocking foul is called on Sprewell.
Well, you know, Marv, you're talking about the matchup here. Golden State was trying to prove, as we take another look at Sprewell going and getting squashed, as you see Fuller gets sent back to a big play by the Knicks, stopping him, and then Charlie Ward gets fouled. But Golden State was trying to prove that they can play good basketball. They started rather poorly, and they had a horrendous game the other night against Portland. They were embarrassed. The Knicks, coming off that loss to the Lakers the other night, felt real bad about that. They're going on this trip where they're facing 3 certain beatable teams, and they just want this game badly.
And the Knicks are trying to prove that they can play sound basketball in the fourth quarter. They lost the game to the Lakers in the fourth. They had the problems in the preseason, although you can't use that as a measuring stick, but still, Jeff Van Gundy was unhappy about it. Here's Smith. Joe Smith slamming it home, and the Knicks lead is now 2 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Charles Oakley fouled by Todd Fuller. And Oakley to the line. That's 4 on Fuller.
I'll tell you, Golden State officials are delighted about this game. Their fans are getting a product. Take a look now at Joe Smith. Marv, I didn't think Joe Smith was going to come down. It was a second. I thought he may keep going up. But one of the problems here with moving down here, a good hour drive from San Francisco and an hour and probably almost a half from Oakland, is do your season ticket holders come with you? Do you have to create new season ticket holders? And people around here were saying before the game that Golden State really didn't market to San Jose. They were figuring that their fans had come down here, but that's asking a lot for people who have to drive a tremendous distance. But tonight, the place looks very well attended, and what an exciting product they're seeing.
Well, the crowd lively because they've reacted to what has been a terrific game. Knicks now lead 98-94. 1:45 remaining, fourth quarter. Smith from deep. Not a good shot.
Charlie Ward, you know, he's a guard, but man, he gets in there and looks for rebounds. He doesn't think small, this guy.
And that's rebound number 6 for Ward. And give him another assist as he sets up Patrick Ewing. In fact, that's 11 assists for Charlie Ward. Timeout taken by Golden State. It's the Knicks with a 6-point lead. Well, for the Knicks, a 9-2 run the last minute and 12. Beautiful setup a moment ago from Ward for his 11th assist of the game. That's a career high for Charlie. You mentioned the rebounding skills, and now Charlie in the front court with the setup for Ewing.
Yes, Ewing getting a wide open shot. He held his position hoping Charlie would get him the ball. Slick ball handling by Charlie, and then a good decision, a good vision seeing Ewing wide open, who hits that shot. Patrick Ewing has emerged as the major force for the Knicks. It took him a while, but it happened. Outstanding game for Ewing. 12 of 18 from the field, 29 points, 9 rebounds. And the Knicks shooting has picked up. 9 of 16 here in the fourth quarter. Golden State, 2 timeouts remaining. They do not have a 20. Knicks have 3, and they're 20. And the Knicks trapping. Here's Price for 3. Air ball. Look out. Oh, look out. Joe Smith landing on his back. And the Warriors very happy that he's able to get up. As he took a shot. John Starks fouls out. Crowd did not appreciate that last foul. All right, let's listen to this. Well, Joe Smith fouled by John Starks,
And Smith to the line. 1:18 remaining in this fourth quarter. Smith now 4 of 5 at the line.
Boy, he's really graduated after that sensational first year where he led all the rookies in the NBA last year in rebounding, top 5 in scoring, and looks like he's going to have a terrific career as he did at Maryland.
Here's pressure on the ball, and Ward's pass picked off by Sprewell, but he stepped out of bounds. Well, the Warriors looking to trap the Knicks, and Jeff Van Gundy wants a timeout. He's taking a 20 with 1:12 to go in the fourth quarter. The Knicks clinging to a 4-point lead.
Sprewell stepping out of bounds, and now Jeff Van Gundy wants to talk things over with his team. 4-point lead, 1:12 to go, and when you look at the likes of Mullen and Mark Price on the floor, not to mention Sprewell, a lot can happen with their shooting abilities. Certainly among the best in the NBA when it comes to three-point shooting, not to mention just general jump shooting. Mark Price certainly looks healthy, Marv, after his frustration last year. Same with Mullen. Both players looking in real NBA stride.
Mark Price last season spent the year with Washington, played only 7 games because of a broken foot. Timeout rundown. Ewing back to help.
Knicks want to use that 24 seconds.
Down to 1 minute in the fourth. And 10 on the shot clock. Ward's pass deflected by Price. Another Knick turnover. 28 turnovers by the Knicks. Sprewell knocked away by Houston. He came up with a steal, and here's Ward feeding Ewing. Rick Adelman calling for time. Charlie Ward is still upset with that turnover in the previous possession.
Yes, he's wearing that expression on his face right now.
Despite the fact that the Knicks got it back, upset with himself.
Well, 41 seconds to go. The Knicks now with a 6-point lead. Heads up basketball. Charlie Ward a moment ago throwing a pass that was deflected into the hands of the Golden State Warriors. That made Charlie unhappy. Allen Houston, though, slapping that ball away a moment ago to Charlie Ward. Sized things up. His big man was running with him, and Patrick Ewing comes in for the 2 points, giving the Knicks a little breathing room. And Charlie Ward walks off the court, head down, reflecting on that last pass that he threw away. That shows you where his standards are. He's got very high standards for his play. And however, when Charlie sees that box score, he won't be too unhappy with a career high 12 assists.
A steal by Houston, his third of the night. 40 seconds remaining. Joe Smith on a reverse. That was too easy. I don't think Jeff Van Gundy liked what he saw. Pressure again by the Warriors. Houston trying to shake off Price and gets it to the front court with a half minute to go. The Knicks lead 102-98. Houston fouled by Mullen. And the Knicks very happy to see Allen Houston go to the line. Correction on the foul. It is Armstrong, not Mullen. It's 4 on Armstrong. John Starks, one of the key factors for the Knicks comeback in the second half. A fiery game for Starks. Well, there's a rare miss by Houston. John Starks fouled out, but fouled out with 17 points on 5 of 8 shooting. And here's John Wallace, which is certainly a credit to the rookie to be on the floor in these moments. And I would think that they like to have him on the floor for the potential free throw shooting. Down to 25 seconds remaining. 5-point lead. The Knicks do not want to foul. Smith for 3, fielded by Oakland. Down to 15 seconds. Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing with 33, and that will wrap it. Knicks saying no foul. Jeff Van Gundy saying no foul. Final seconds, fourth quarter. Here's Mullen. So the Knicks lead 105-100. And game one of this three-game Western trip, a hard-fought victory for the Knicks against the Warriors here in San Jose. And for Golden State, rough going at their temporary home. They're now 0-3 in San Jose.
Tremendous effort by the Knicks. They really clawed their victory tonight. And Marv, I must say, they have a lot of fans here in San Jose. A lot of support for the Knicks on the road here tonight.
Well, you know, people always said San Jose is a Knicks city.
In
Final
your
score. Sorry, John. The Knicks 105 and the Warriors 100. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment.